bought a commercial aircraft simulator, and what we're trying to do is to replicate the flight of MH370 from the point they took off from runway 32 right in Sabang up to the point where contact was lost 320 kilometers northwest of Penang. We'll take you through the different critical phases of the flight, from the turn back to the drop in altitude to about 5,000 feet off the coast of Penang.
For this exercise, the team used an Airbus A320 flight simulator. It's a completely different aircraft type and class from the 777. The only similarities are the twin-engine layout and fly-by-wire flight control system. Our purpose was twofold: to determine the timeline from takeoff to the turn back at waypoint Igari, to the disabling of the ACARS and transponder. The second phase was to see if an airliner could be flown down on the deck to evade commercial and military radar. The burning question was, could someone with some simulated time take control of a jetliner and fly it through the waypoints to an undisclosed location while evading commercial and military radar?
Right now we're at 19.8 nautical miles off of Point Igari, where we will be making a turn back on a heading of 250, heading back towards Peninsula Malaysia and crossing it into Penang, and we'll be making another turn into northbound, about 320 nautical miles, 320 kilometers off of Penang. Immediately after Igari, the transponder was switched off. As we're approaching Kota Baru, we've set the flight level at 2,500 feet.
That's the airport. Kota Baru Airport.
Modern jetliners are highly automated, and modern flight simulators are super accurate, from the cockpit layout to the switchology and flight dynamics. Anyone with enough simulator time could theoretically fly the jet. The tricky part is the landing.
Our altitude right now is 2,500 feet. We're approaching some very high terrain right now. We'll see if we can clear it without touching the controls. After that, we'll be banking right, and the next waypoint will be Vampi. Right now I've got manual control of the aircraft, and I'm going to see if we can clear the terrain ahead manually without the use of the autopilot. Only the auto throttle is engaged. Current altitude is 2,900 feet and descending. What I'm doing is I'm using the terrain to mask the aircraft from any prying radar. Have faith, bro.
Switching to manual flight control with the click of a button on the side stick controller, we took the jetliner down to as low as 80 feet in some parts, hugging the terrain. Built-in inhibitors in the flight control software kicked in during some parts of this phase. Overspeed, stall warnings, excessive bank angle, and master alarm warnings kicked in. On an actual flight, these maneuvers at low altitudes would have exerted tremendous loads on the airframe and passengers. This would have created panic in the passenger cabin. Captain Amin Said, the director at SimFlight KL, said flying the plane low enough to avoid radar was entirely possible.
Thinking.
off ahead is Penang, which is marked here by VPG. WMKB is Butterworth Air Base. I'm still on manual control. My altitude is 4,200 feet. From this point, after Penang, we will be banking right towards waypoint Vampi. Using the autopilot. Right now, our flight level is 520 feet. Let's see if we can go down lower.
If the flight deck had been compromised and the flight crew incapacitated, flight instructors we spoke to agreed that anyone with enough knowledge of the 777 and its systems and with enough simulator time could commandeer the 200-ton jetliner and flown it into thin air.